gentlemen, fellow artists, welcome. My name is Sheila Mitchell. I'm Executive Director of Art for All Canada. Thank you so much for coming to what's going to be our very first World Art Fashion Show.
Jill Price is from Barrie, Ontario. She has recently become a full-time artist specializing in mixed media collage. Jill is modeling a part of her new body of work entitled Rurbia, which visually explores the patterns of suburban sprawl taking over our rural landscapes. Jill Price. From her home in Scarborough, Mary creates canvases full of the passion with which she sees the world. Digital photography and her knowledge as a model builder, she enhances her canvases for a 3D effect. Mary Jo says she thanks Art for All Canada for this opportunity to showcase her new work via the world's first ever art fashion show. Mary Jo Carter-Dodd. Next up is Ruth Rodgers from Port Perry, Ontario, who has been painting pastel scenes of local landscapes and people for about 6 years. The piece Ruth is modeling, titled Natural Arch, expresses the dappled light and the quiet beauty of a walk in the woods. Ruth is president of Pastel Artists Canada, and she will be speaking at the conference today. Ruth Rodgers. Michael Dada from Toronto is modeling a 16 by 24 inch painting of his sister Raven. Michael's work is oil on canvas with figurative abstracts that explore mental health and self-care. Today, Michael has brought an example of figurative work, very dramatic, which matches the music today. Michael thinks this art fashion show is a brilliant idea and that it is way out there. And he says that is what art should always strive to be. Michael Dada. Ellen Down is really happy to be here today, but she wouldn't want to live in the city. Ellen is from Keswick, Ontario, on the shores of beautiful Lake Simcoe, where she loves painting rural landscapes. Ellen has been an artist ever since she could hold a crayon, and the 12 by 12 inch acrylic she is modeling today is a painting of her Rembrandt tulips that grow in her garden. Ellen Down. Next up is Kevin Bax from Ottawa, whose studio is wherever he and his camera happen to be. Kevin has been doing urban and landscape photography since he was 17 today, and he is modeling, while photographing, a portrait of the Toronto subway that captures the rush and constant movement of the city. Not everyone would agree that the TTC rushes, but it is a great perspective. Kevin Bax. Adrian hails from Toronto. At the tender age of 9, Adrian became deeply passionate about illustration. Now is a graduate in graphic design at Humber College with over 10 years of work experience behind him. Adrian's style is provocative, inspiring, and defies categorization, blurring the lines between graffiti and ultra-realism. His work includes countless commissioned portraits, illustrations, and community murals. Adrian hails. Adina Balma works from her studio just north of Toronto, but her goal is to transport the viewer to her world of another place and time. Adina creates mostly surreal paintings involving many elements from the real world. She paints in oil, acrylic, mixed media, and encaustic. Adina has been an artist ever since her teens. Adina Balma. Donna Gira has specialized in modern batik art and mixed media for the last 6 years, and she is looking forward to learning and sharing with the other artists here today. Sometimes when Donna is working on large pieces, her basement home studio expands into her dining room. So less dining, more painting, which is why possibly people talk about starving artists. Donna Gira. Next up is Lorraine Boucher, who has had her studio on the shore of Lake Huron in Port Elgin. And today she has some interesting information for us. Did you know that when it is cold, the green cactus of Arizona turns purple? And purple is Lorraine's favorite color, hence the lovely piece she is modeling here today called the Cold Cactus. but Lorraine is hot about Art for All, Canada's first art fashion show. Lorraine Boucher. Jane Barin from Guelph is modeling a colographic print entitled Florida Roadkill, inspired by the tragic death of the unfortunate armadillo. Jane says artists do see the world in a different way, and she wants to pass on a special thanks to Art for All Canada for helping artists to share their unique visions. Jane Barin. Marinko Pupinic was born and raised in Croatia. He lived in Amsterdam and Alberta before settling in Kitchener, Ontario. Marinko mainly focuses on oil paintings of landscapes and portraits. He has been an artist for over 40 years and is happy to be here today and for the opportunity to have his art appreciated by others. This landscape features a lake in the Wawa region of Northern Ontario. Marinko Pupinic. Next up is Marcy Lego, who lives in Ottawa, where she paints in acrylic and offers workshops in fabric sculptures. Maurice has been taking art classes for the last 10 years. Fabric sculpting is a new endeavor for her. Her latest work, called Unveiling, shows how mixed mediums can be used to achieve interesting effects. She just loves the idea of an art fashion show and thinks it's even better to be part of it. Maurice Lego. Our next model is almost a brand new artist. Her name is Louise Ye from Brampton, who has been painting in pastels for only a year and a half. The piece she is modeling today is called For the Love of, deliberately an unfinished sentence because it is a story for your imagination. For the Love of is a tableau of art expressing a multitude of love's emotions. Louise Ye. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, I think you've got the wrong movie. Conference. What are you doing? What are you doing with that chainsaw? No, wait. Please, ladies and gentlemen, relax and stay in your seats. This is Darcy James from Pickering, Ontario. Darcy carves images from the world mythology and legend into and out of discarded hydro poles. They are installed in parks and along the waterfront trail, and he has been sculpting for 35 years. Today he is modeling a carving called the Bridge Builder. Darcy will be telling the whole story about the Bridge Builder at one of our conferences this afternoon. Darcy says he's glad to be in the world's first art fashion show. Can everyone repeat that for me, please? The world's first art fashion show. Thank you. Back to Darcy. He agreed to be in the show today because Sheila Mitchell told him it would be fun, and if he didn't do it, she would hunt him down and put a big hurt on him. So here he is today, Darcy James. Next up is Nneed Heart, who works in her Toronto home studio. Anne specializes in watercolor and acrylic abstract paintings that tell a story. Anne is modeling an acrylic memory of a sunlit, peaceful meadow, which entices you to lay down in the grass and look at the clouds. This is a great feeling. Anne says she is delighted to be in the art fashion show because it is a first. Yes, it is a world's first. Nneed Heart. Next on the catwalk is Rose Finnegan from Niagara-on-the-Lake. Rose creates semi-impressionistic works in all mediums except oil. And no wonder, have you seen the price of oil at the pumps these days? Actually, Rose has been an artist for 12 years, and today she is modeling Hollyhocks, a multimedia piece of art which was created from several of her photographs with added improvisations. Rose says she is glad to be here because it's a novel and exciting experience. Rose Finnegan. Now here is Danny Magder, and she's a 20-year veteran who works mainly in acrylics, oils, and mixed media. She also paints murals. Danny is modeling a piece called Enlightenment that was inspired by her love of gardening. Danny teaches children's art classes and is in the process of painting murals at Woodbridge Public School. Danny Magder. Next up is Hanna Kim, originally from South Korea, currently living in Toronto, and she has studied fine art at several universities, including OCAD in Toronto. Kim's main inspiration for visual art comes from her spiritual experiences. She thinks of her work as a cathartic pleasure and a spiritual consolation for viewers. Hanna Kim. Next, we have Janice Brown from Ajax, where she teaches art, specializes in abstract mixed media. Painting for Janice is a reflection of how color and form come together to create movement and life. Janice has been working as an artist for about 24 years, 16 of them in England, and only 6 here in Canada. Only in Canada, you say? That's an old Red Rose tea commercial, and you'll only get that joke if you're over 50. Only in Canada, Janice Brown. Next, we have Sheila Bristow from Barin with a portrait of her daughter Pamela. Sheila has been painting seriously since 2001, and her first love is portraiture in any medium. She has a collection of large flowers in acrylic called Hollyhocks Plus. Sheila likes coming here because it keeps her up to date on new products and processes, and she enjoys meeting and comparing notes with the other artists. Sheila Bristow. This is Lorraine Kale, a Toronto artist who specializes in landscapes and has been a professional artist for 15 years. Lori is also a volunteer art teacher at her local elementary school in Scarborough. Today, Lori is modeling Graphic Autumn, which is a break away from her usual style of realism. Lori thinks this is a fun and creative way to exhibit artwork, and better than just hanging the work on the wall in hopes that someone will notice it. Lori Kale. Valerie Kent has been painting professionally for nearly 46 years. From her studio in Richmond Hill, she paints in a loose, active style in many of the media and also mixes them for new effects. Valerie is modeling an acrylic autumn landscape titled Schomburg Farm. Valerie thinks this is an exciting and highly creative way to highlight art, and Valerie is one of the presenters at the conference today. Valerie Kent. Anne has a studio in Toronto specializing in pet portraits and conceptual art. Today, Anne is displaying Emergency Communication, a conceptual piece depicting how a non-speaking person like herself communicates by pointing to words and phrases on a board with her index finger. She painted this piece to demonstrate that although a person may not be able to verbalize speech, the ideas and feelings behind the words are just as important. Anne says she is glad to be here because it's an exciting and innovative way to remind people that art is important and vital to the growth of our society. Anne Abbott. And that includes the world's first art fashion show.